What's going on, everyone? Today I'm going to be showing you how to work in Photoshop with the rest of your project. So you're going to need to have Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop opened as well. So first things first, we're going to go to new project here and we're going to do letter size. Usually we do it bigger than this, but letter size will work for this one. So make sure you go to print, letter size document, and we title this About Me Poster, and then create. Right, that's going to give you your About Me template that we're going to be using, and we're going to be implementing a photo. Now I'm just going to be using one of the pictures that you guys took, so I apologize, Luis, because I'm using yours, but we're going to bring him over into Photoshop. Right now, once we bring the picture over into Photoshop, obviously we don't want the orange background, and we want to make sure that we can work with what we currently have. So we're going to do remove background, and if it doesn't do a perfect job, so his did, but let's pretend that it didn't. Right here with the black and white area, you can go in here with your brush, make sure you have the black and white area selected, which is your mask. And for example, here in his hand, you can see that there's parts that didn't get erased. So I can make my brush a lot smaller. I'm using the bracket keys on my keyboard, but you could also go in here and make it smaller yourself. And I'm just going to go with a black brush to go ahead and delete the areas that I don't need. And then just kind of color in the areas that I want to get rid of. There we go. And you can do that here as well. So again, if yours has any areas that are kind of messed up, you can just go in there and manually adjust them and fix them, which is not as bad as having to do the entire thing manually to begin with. All right, cool. So those look like the areas where this is kind of messed up. Now we're going to need to add a background. For the background, I would like for the background to have some kind of gradient that's darker towards the bottom. So we're going to go to our gradient tool, and instead of a radial gradient, which is the one that you see up here, we're going to go with a linear gradient, the one that goes in a straight line from something to something, right? I don't know what kind of colors he wants, so I'm just going to kind of go in here and choose some random colors. Let's go with something like this, and that looks like it's already going from a light color to a dark color, and we want the dark color towards the bottom, right? So that we can create some kind of like shadowy effect where it's a little bit more shadowy towards the bottom. Then we can resize him however we want. He's gonna go right there. If you guys remember how to do shadows, by all means you can do a shadow. I'm gonna do a manual shadow right here that's just gonna be kind of a blue, but just a little bit darker. And I'm gonna go with my brush, make it bigger, make sure that it's really soft, and I'm gonna put the flow down to about 1, and then I'm just gonna kind of create a shadowy effect that's like this. That might be a little bit extra. Let's go ahead and just do it this way instead. Well, something like that, I guess, right? Now we kind of have a shadow there that's going on, and maybe kind of just create a little bit of a shadow like this. There we go. So now we have a bit of a shadow going on there, and now we can start bringing in our drawings. Now I didn't do all the drawings because I don't have time for them, but this is one of the ones he was going to have. So you do select it and press copy, go to Photoshop, Control V, and then when you get this little pop-up, you want to make sure that you click Smart Object, and you can click OK. And then you can click Done, and then just add it wherever you want. So in this case, we're going to resize it, make sure that he goes somewhere here, because that is what he's going to be using. We're also going to bring the soccer ball as well. So copy and bring the soccer ball. Maybe the soccer ball could be, since one of them does need to be interactive, we gotta put like maybe the soccer ball here or something. And then we can go in here, and then he could bring his dog. He's got other drawings, but I don't have all the stuff. And then his dog can go in here somewhere. Right now, let's say, for example, we can take the dog as an example. Let's say that the dog was a drawing that he needed to fix in Photoshop, right? Because it wasn't going to work. So we can just go ahead and delete all of these things, right? And this makes the dog transparent, so we can go ahead and copy him and go into Photoshop and paste him, right? So this is where the dog's going to be at, right? We can hide everything in the meantime so that we only work with the dog. I'm going to create a new layer and put it underneath, and I'm going to put dog color. And so for the dog color, that's where we're going to start coloring in. So we'll put the hardness at 100, lower this down, something like that. And let's make this dog be brown with some white spots or something. So let's go somewhere in here, something like that, right? And we're just gonna go in here, and again, it doesn't matter because we have black lines, so we're gonna put the flow back at 100 so we can hide them underneath those black lines. Just do something simple like this. I like doing the edges first. Makes it a little bit easier for me because then now I can make my brush big and then just kind of color in the middle areas, right? Now, in this same one, I need to now add the color of his little eyes, which I guess dogs kind of do have black eyes most of the time. So we could maybe go with like a lighter color and do like something like this. And then we'll go in there and give them like some black eyes towards the end, or darker eyes, I guess, because I think that's the way the dogs have them. I'm not entirely sure, but like this, and then just kind of go in there and color these areas. Right, something like that, give or take. Then he's gonna have a really dark nose. And again, this takes a lot longer, so I wouldn't suggest doing this for all of your drawings. But if you want to do it for some of them, you can. We'll go ahead and give them like a white ear right here that's like kind of spotty. And make like a big brush here and just kind of do something like that, and then maybe kind of copy that brown and then color in here like, oops, I went outside of the thing, but you guys get the idea, right? And we can do like, and then we can do like a little manchita right here or something. With the eraser tool, we can go in here and erase the areas that we didn't want, and then that gives you a way to kind of color in the dog, right? The only issue is that this is what we're doing underneath those lines, and so when you want to resize the dog, if you resize it, the color's going to stay, right? So you have to make sure that you resize together, Control T, and then you can resize it together and then put the dog wherever you would like the little doggy to be, right? And once you have the little doggy, then you can start adding the rest, right? And then at the end, you just save it as a JPEG. Once you're done, save it to your documents, About Me poster, save, and then that's it. You'll be done. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.